Hello, so I'm Ewa Leś from Coalition Clean Baltic, which is a network, umbrella network for the organizations around the Baltic Sea from different countries. I also represent River University, which was also introduced as interdisciplinary and cross-sectoral program directed towards professionals related with water, also across the Baltic Sea countries and Europe. So feel free to have a chat with me later in time if you are interested. I come from Poland, the country that is preparing to take over the EU presidency soon. I also feel European because I work also on European level in terms of waters. At Coalition Clean Baltic, I work on the impact of the rivers on the Baltic Sea. What I perceive as quite significant issues, because if we say about the seas, we also need to think about the rivers and other way around. It's not always perceived as easy like that. So I'm always trying to influence the discussion, mentioning this two ends of the discussion. I have been invited to speak about the importance of implementing EU water pollution regulations, which means simply putting the regulations we have already, from sometimes ambitious, sometimes less papers, to practice. And keeping their teeth sharp, which is not always the case, because we know that some papers are good, but they are poorly implemented, or rather not even, or rather implementation didn't started. Picture I presented, I have chosen deliberately to not show polluted waters all over again during this day, but to show us the aim I and we strive for, the clean and natural rivers in the Baltic Sea region, in Europe and wider. This is the Wieprz River, the river which I experienced last week. During the River University, focused on the water security at Ukraine. So this is our aim of being here, and I hope that we can make it. I would like to be still optimistic despite the data numbers we see already, we have seen already, and we will see. I also wanted to highlight that despite the professional level of this event, I'm also a member of my family, simply as you are, impacted by water pollution every day. And this is quite significant for me during this presentation, because we talk a lot about rivers out there, water pollution somewhere there, but to be efficient, we also need to feel this threat, be aware that this is very close to us. So this aspect will be highlighted to feel the urgency. I think this is how we usually perceive the water pollution when we are talking about. Obviously, water pollution has multiple phases. I will show it in a while. This picture comes from my hometown region. I come from Karkonosze Mountains in Poland. So I'm closer to the springs, but on the other side, I work with the Baltic, which receives the impact. So this is my source to seaway on the matter of rivers and also pollution. I couldn't avoid to bring attention to the eutrophication, because I also work as a working area leader for eutrophication area within CCB. So this topic is significant for me in a professional way, but also for all of us who use marine waters, who use coastal ecosystems during summer and not only. I will try to screen the movie. Yes, it's visible. So the few pictures you can see, they are from a few recent years from the Gulf of Finland, and you can see the results of eutrophication spread quite strongly and are very visible. And I'm sure that we would like to avoid the situation that we are sitting on the bank, just sitting and seeing the green soup, which we cannot enter. And that is the element of this importance very close to us. So we can feel this urgency and this importance in our private life during the leisure time, during the vacation, visiting the coastal areas. Eutrophication is one of the water pollution phase. Obviously, we know that it's caused by the excessive inputs of nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, to the marine environment, provided via rivers and delivered mainly from the agriculture sector, what was highlighted already. So I think unfortunately, agricultural sector will be very present with us today, especially during this session. But this is how reality is, and it cannot be hide under the carpet, because these are the facts, and we need to deal with the facts, with the data we have, and we need to act on the issues. So eutrophication also, despite what we can see, it affects the marine waters in the way we cannot see directly. And what I mean here is the changing the Baltic waters into dead zones. So we are actually losing our pearl, how I call the Baltic Sea, just step by step, gradually, and the process is in expansion. We know from the data that we know from the recent data that over 90% of the Baltic Sea region is affected by the eutrophication. These are the data from recent HELCOM report for the period 2016 to 21. So it's not getting much better, and this is one of the water pollution phase we need to deal really urgently. You may wonder if this thing on the left it comes from the third country. Unfortunately not. It comes from my lovely mountainous area where I come from. So this is also a water pollution phase, and these are the situations which the residents of some areas in the Central Europe in the 21st century still needs to face. sometimes being left without helping hand because businesses are more important. And I mean, for example, touristic pressure here or lack of, I don't know, will or competence to deal with wastewater management, for example. This picture is one of my favorites. This was the actual release of little sturgeons to Odra River in 2019, as I remember. Me and Artur Furdina, who will speak about Odra River as well, we were participating in this joyful event to see the Odra being inhabited with the new biodiversity. But what I can say today is that this picture not longer exists, because after the Odra catastrophe, we can rather say that they are gone. They are being washed by water pollution. So this is also kind of urgency to deal with water pollution, not somewhere there, but on the pollution which acts also on what we do as a scientist, as a conservationist, because it destroys our efforts. So behind this picture is obviously, there are obviously years of effort in terms of the sturgeon reintroduction. Behind this picture there are large money for this process, effort of people who spend years doing that. So there is a lot of behind. But let's dive into definition, because we say a lot about pollution, its phases, but actually what pollution is according to EU. So it says that water is polluted when it contains high levels of harmful substances, which can be toxic chemicals and microorganisms, which are often invisible. So it's obviously not easy to deal with. I think we know that from the experience already. But just to highlight in comparison to the picture I started, that water pollution can be hidden threat just behind the corner. Here you can see the Prymnesium parvum, of course, which I'm referring. But not only the biodiversity damages. As I told you about our personal impact or personal how we are getting affected by water pollution in a personal way, I would like to dive a bit closer to us, to our body, also to our family, not just thinking about rivers out there or pollution somewhere farther. So these pictures, this is the also water pollution and its results. I'm sure we all know that waterborne diseases such as cholera can spread when untreated wastewater pollutes drinking water supplies. Pollution from chemicals, including also the pesticides, which will be present with us in the next presentation, can cause serious damages, serious illness, including cancer. And microplastics have even been found in our blood cells. These are the results of water pollution. And my question is, like, if we talk about the importance of EU regulations and implementation. So the question is how seriously they are important for us. Obviously, we have regulations, we have obligations, etc., etc. But there is also different urgency, different importance, which is visible here. Just to mention that this girl has died due to cancer. Is this important enough to implement these regulations we have? And I think this is a very vulnerable question to say out loud, not just chatting about the papers and regulations, because the water pollution is very close by to us. Impacting our freshwater resources, where the Odra disaster can be just unfortunately perfect example. Impacting our quality of marine waters and coastal ecosystems, as I pointed out earlier, and obviously impacting human and animal health. And all this is also about the economic impact. Yes, the money which needs to be put on the table to deal with the river pollution, with the reverse pollution, to deal with the human health damages, etc., etc. It's everything is like behind these pictures. We were presented with some data related to agricultural sector, and we know that one of the main common sources of water pollution in Europe is the agricultural runoff. There is also obviously the industrial discharge, urban stormwater runoff, and let's not forget about the plastic and other waste. We know from the data also that water pollution costs us dearly. For example, the nutrient pollution costs more than 70 billion per year, and nearly 70% of Europeans consider pollution to be the main threat related to water. So this where significance, where the importance lies as well, behind the numbers. And I brought also a few examples of EU water pollution regulations, which we have, which were updated, or they are still to be implemented. Obviously, the Water Framework Directive is the key, the golden key framework law for the protection of our waters. The funny, but maybe not that funny, thing is that we have, let's say, 40 regulations, guidelines on the water framework, and still nothing in practice. Like, it's not, we can say from the reports that it's not implemented in many European countries. We have also the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive updated, but on the other hand, still there are a few countries which needs to improve the wastewater sector. The same as we have a Nitrates Directive, and also CAP, Common Agriculture Policy, which are impacting the matter in a wrong way, not necessarily helping here. What we say about that as Europeans? We think that companies should pay for the cost of cleaning up their pollution. We think that the public authorities should also pay for this cost. And what is important, we think that EU should propose additional measures to address water problems. That's what the data shows. Just to give us a few examples, a few real examples from our countries, how we are affected by the water pollution in just ordinary day. In Germany, water bills increased around 20%, as the water supplier needs to remove PFAS substances resulting from contaminated paper sludge used as fertilizer. In Netherlands, seafoam contains, again, PFAS in such levels that water authorities advise parents to protect kids to not swallow the seafoam. Sweden. Swedish consumers, they were being warned to limit eating certain fish due to high levels of PFAS contamination, and we could go so on. Just to say also about the case of Poland, which I come from. We know that nowadays we are a perfect example of water pollution. But just to bring to attention that water pollution is one of our major challenges, as well as hydromorphology pressure. And nowadays, over 90 of our rivers needs restoration. So this is also the urgent action related with water pollution. We can have the buffer zones here and other topics. But unfortunately, in Poland, the nature-based solutions are not so widely used as we would like to. It's also good to know 7 big rivers in the Baltic Sea region. But it's better to know how they impact the Baltic Sea water's condition. These are the graphs with nutrients and phosphorus inputs. And they are simply transform the blue Baltic you can see in the middle to the red eutrophicated area. So essentials which we need to have when discussing in the implementations of regulations are, for example, like restoring natural ecosystems, like floodplains, like wetlands, because they are acting as filters. Definitely promoting sustainable, resilient agriculture. I mean, for example, the organic one. Using fewer pesticides and fertilizer. This is quite a strong recommendation from all. And obviously, what I said, the nature-based solution is something which definitely would change our discussion in terms of water pollution. And this is my last slide, still being in the wishful, positive mode that we will reach the better condition of our waters than now. I just wanted to say that my river is polluted. My family member suffers from cancer being just 14 years old. I personally see the importance and urgency of water pollution implementation, and I hope that we can all see this way and push policymakers for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.